Hi, welcome. On this video, I'd like to take a couple minutes to talk about the drive of the dog. Now, again, it's part of this series on achieving a drive-based standard, which is commonly referred to as tracking through drive. We'll be talking about the many dynamics involved when it comes to being able to incorporate these concepts in so you can unleash the full potential of your police service dog. But one of the things to look at when you're assessing a dog to begin with, when you're trying to determine if there's a problem in the relationship or in terms of the dog's drive, is number one is making sure from the very start that you're selecting a dog that is a high drive dog. Now, certain breeds, such as a Mal, you're gonna right away, generally, okay, you're gonna have a high drive dog. Okay, so a breed like with a Malinois, that's a type of dog that's like, I call it like a stick of dynamite lit on both ends. In fact, some of the concerns is the dog can be too much of a dog for some people, just too high drive of a dog. And I would encourage people that are seeing things that way is once you really understand how these dynamics come together, being more intentional about the training process, you're not going to avoid certain dogs like that. I would encourage you to say that's great. I want a dog like that, because it's going to challenge you, but in a good way, because now, again, as I go through this series of videos, you're going to see, wow, I can actually, handle a high drive dog and maximize everything because I actually know, I better understand the process, and I know how to get to where I need to go in terms of having, the full package. Not just speed, but focus and how all those things come together. So therefore, I would really encourage people not to kind of, be afraid of or kind of fear a high drive dog like that. But, you'll see now, hey, I can handle it and be successful in it. But again, going back to this issue about determining the drive of the dog once you have a dog. Now this, again, going back to the selection part of it, again, you want, when you're selecting, say, a puppy, you want the bully dog, okay? I mean, a puppy dog is the one that's, put food down the dish, is the first one in the dish and kind of pushing all the other dogs away. Well, that's a good thing for what you want. The ball, the dog is chasing, going after that ball, again, pushing the other dogs away. That's what you want. Okay, you pay attention to those things. But as, in the process, so if you move ahead on the kind of timeline here, if you have a dog that, again, this can happen where you're not certain. You get to a level where it's like, man, I get this dog and the dog is just either low drive or something is going on. That can happen. I mean, you can actually have a low drive dog. But the thing is to really be able to determine, okay, properly the drive levels of the dog is really to, again, invest in, I talk about the basic rural tracking model, being able to frame it up that way to really get to unleash the speed of the dog. That's one way to really make sure that you're really getting the full potential of that dog's drive unleashed. Okay, if it's buried a little bit, maybe you're doing certain things, you've invested in a certain way of training, but that is a way to really get that out of the dog, really unleash it fully. And then make a prop from that. Once you've done that properly over the course of a period of time, then you can properly assess it, okay, and be able to look at it and say, okay, I've done this for, properly, and to go into it too with a, and this is important, is don't have a certain way of thinking, okay. Oftentimes our thought processes can hinder things. Dog can pick up on that. Again, I'll talk about that on some other videos, the relational aspect of that, but it's about really letting go of your thinking and just go into that process just in a totally like a new day approach. Just, okay, I'm going into this, really going to let go of everything else I've been thinking about and just really focus on getting this dog's drive unleashed. And therefore, if you do all that, you go through the right sequencing, and then at that point, if you're like, man, I've done this and the drive levels are still down, then you can make a proper assessment, okay? But until that moment, I would really encourage you to make sure you go through the proper sequence, because what can happen is we don't have a good foundation in terms of understanding how this all frames up with a dog's drive and how it's unleashed, and then sometimes a dog can get washed out needlessly. I mean, some agencies can wash out a lot of dogs based off of a human thinking process to say, well, this dog is a little glitchy. Okay, I'll talk about that on some other videos. It's understanding how to overcome those things, okay? Dogs are relational animals, so when they have high drive and the relational part of this isn't coming together properly, it can put a stress load on a dog actually and cause problems. I'm going to talk about that too. How to make sure all these dynamics frame up properly, come together properly, so that you're going to have an outstanding service dog. But at the same time, you know, if you have an issue or problem, you feel like, you know, you're at the point of, maybe I should wash this dog out. Well, there's things that you can do to both determine the drive of the dog, but also to overcome issues, okay, which are related to the pieces actually not fitting together between the handler and the dog in the first place, relationally. Okay, so the dog could be a stress load on the dog. So, because dogs are relational animals, so it's understanding how this comes into harmony, how to achieve harmony, make sure all the dots are connecting properly so that you can have an outstanding service dog. So, thanks for watching.